But definitely not the least one. Now that's kicking in an open door. With my dear colleagues who are coming on stage, I will not do the introduction nor repeat the title because everyone here can read, and otherwise there is AI to help us out. So let's dive immediately into the topic. So my first question would be, because we talk a lot about insights, actionable insights, but which type of insights can you really, or should you generate if you really want to influence positively the decision-making process and impact from the commercial excellence perspective? So maybe we can get started.
Yes, Chiara? We can get started, and we will spice up a little bit the conversation since this is the last question. So I will make a quick debrief on the foundational power of GenAI, which is indeed, answering our queries that come in any shape and form, right? And those answers, behind those answers, there are really insights. And in fact, I actually questioned ChatGPT for it to actually define the excellence of itself, of GenAI, and I can quote it here. Excellence of GenAI is the ability to recognize patterns in generating coherent responses based on the data the LLM is trained on. So GenAI analyzes the context of the query and attempts to generate relevant, meaningful answers. So here we see really the humbleness of ChatGPT-4, which I liked a lot, talking about its excellence as an attempt. And I actually challenge each of you here, right, to ask your ChatGPT-4 what is the excellence of itself, what's the excellence of GenAI. You will see the answer will be surely highly likely different from what I just quoted, right? And indeed, those AI-generated answers have the powers of insights and inputs for better decision making. And this is why we really make those queries. And it generates any type of insights indeed in relation with the creativity of our queries. If we then relate this to marketing and sales, where I belong to, we surely see lots of powers of AI-generated customer insights, and we can put in use those insights through the power of marketing technologies in real time nowadays. And surely you have seen the possibility of GenAI to analyze a large customer data set and surely create patterns across those customer insights and orchestrate those insights at a very large scale. Indeed, GenAI can then produce and generate predictions, suggestions, and expectations. We have talked about also the power segmentation, opportunities for micro-targeting. We've talked about the content generated on the basis of those insights that are behind our language models. We talked about an LR assistant, possibly pre-approved content generated by AI. We've talked about avatars, right, generated on the basis of the data set. And so indeed, through all of these, we can point to the higher operative effectiveness of GenAI, thanks to those insights, for better strategic decision making. In the end, we get closer to our customers' needs, ever-changing behaviors, and ever-changing beliefs that translates in optimized strategy and customer engagement, and therefore optimized and priceless relationship and partnership with our customers. And it enables closed-loop marketing at the speed and at the level we have never seen before, thanks to the customer insight generated by AI. And now maybe Belén?
Yeah, or we make first to balance the genders. We go first to Maurizio, to meet Chiara. You see Italian gentleman, I knew it. I wanted to test you. Please, Dirk.
Thank you. Thanks, Chiara, for this talk. Interesting. Maybe, thinking about us in the room, I think all of you, I have had the opportunity to talk to you. I know you are decision makers in your companies, leading teams, and sometimes you need to make decisions under pressure. I lead the strategy and transformation area at my company. Previously, I was a strategy consultant, so I have worked with CEOs in many different companies, and I have realized that there are some common challenges that all of them face when having to make decisions, especially having to make decisions under pressure. And so I really think there are, I would say, 5 main areas where AI-powered technologies will really help to improve decision making and to drive operational excellence. So one of them is operations tracking. For example, in my case, Pharmaceuticals, generics company, it is really important, especially important to understand where our raw materials come from, who supplied them, what were the manufacturing conditions. Another area is the predictive forecasting models, so getting insights on the future related to demand planning, stock level simulation, and potential operational failures. Another interesting area is reputation management, so social listening, and we have talked about this before. Another area that is really going to play a key role, I think, it's the virtual role play in real world conditions. So basically, virtual environments where managers and their teams can be trained on how to deal with difficult situations and develop these decision-making skills. And finally, the sounding boards and advisory boards, which are decision copilots that provide personalized recommendations to leaders and suggest next steps and complete tasks. This is my view, of course, but Maurizio, I would really want to learn what do you think about it.
Thank you, Belén. It's not so easy to add something else. All speakers already said a lot of things about it, but I believe that based on my experience and the experience that I'm doing in Angelini Pharma, there is no a secret formula, magic formula, or a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody and all the companies, all the situation, no? And for this reason, I believe that there is a correlation between the digital maturity level and the adoption of the tools, of the processes, of the strategy and tactics. So you have to calibrate the approach and also the insights and the data that you are using and the activity that you are doing based on the level of the digital maturity that you have in your organization. And when I use organization, but I mean people, not technology. For me, technology is obviously included, but we started 4 years ago to transform the entire company, 24 different countries, and we started from the people because it's very easy to buy new technology and implement it, but the people doesn't want to change, and this is the problem. And so we created the governance, and the training and the strategy from there. And based on that, let me say that there are a sort of 2 levels. Obviously, it's not so simple, but let me summarize in 2 levels of approach. If you are in the lower digital maturity level, you should be focused on the internal projects, internal use of the GenAI for simple tasks, repetitive tasks, write an email or use data, simple data for internal optimization. If you are a little bit advanced, you can do something different, but you need to have all the people around you ready to discuss this topic, because if you prepare only the marketeers or the digital guys, it's not enough. You need to have on the same table legal, compliance, privacy, because there you have the pain points. And if you don't have support in that part of the table, you are not able to implement the GenAI or advanced project and advanced insight. And for this reason, we decided to start from the early and simple projects. And just last year, we implemented a very powerful project on the plant. Yeah, because we decided to reduce the maintenance problem in our plant, and we are using prediction in terms of problems using our data. Because in terms of history, we have 100 years of history, and we have a lot of experience and data about the problems related. No? And so it's very easy to predict the problems and the part of the machine that probably need to be replaced in advance before the problem, because if you can change that before, you can reduce the downtime, you can reduce the out of stock of the products, and it's an important KPI and decision making. It's very also easier to transfer this value to the general manager, because if you speak about sales and out of stock, it's very easy to transfer the value.
That's a great practical example. We'll come back to that, so hold it a bit. But first, Mark, what are your 2 cents?
So in hearing all of the different steps and the different kinds of combinations, it really focuses and highlights GenAI's role as a curiosity engine. No matter what stage you're at, you're able to take advantage of the information that is provided in a semi-structured or unstructured way, without having to reinvent the wheel or go back in time to change all the data systems necessarily behind you. You're able to get going and then get good. And I think that's the fundamental change, where it allows leaders to be able to say, okay, I want to know this, now I want to know more, and I'd like to go deeper. All right, we're missing some information. Okay, next time we'll be able to improve that putting of the data close to the people that need to be able to make the decision is, I think, the fundamental change. It changes the world of CRM 20 odd years ago, where there may have been great data, but the leadership was so far from that data, 10 levels of difference, there's no way they would be able to interpret it. Now those levels have been compressed. I think that's the promise of the GenAI, whether it's being used for accident prevention or whether it's being used for operational metrics of distribution channels. That's really the power.
That's good. So let me come back to this, because we have some theoretical kind of examples. Let's also look a bit at some more practical applications. You gave one, Maurizio, talking about predictive analytics. I would like to go to some other examples, but also what is exactly the place from predictive analytics in impacting positively on the operational efficacy, let me put it like that, and of prescriptive analytics, because we talk often about both. So where do you see a proper application field for predictive analytics and then for the prescriptive one? And I will start with you, Abeel. I've learned my lesson with you.
Thank you, Dirk. So looking at the predictive forecasting models, I am thinking now about a topic that I have worked on a lot with many different pharma companies. It is the parallel trade topic. I guess a lot of people in the room are familiar with this concept. For those that are not so familiar, it's basically, you know that in Europe it is legal to export medicines from one country to another. So what many wholesalers and distributors do is to buy the medicines in countries where the prices are low and then sell them in countries where the prices are more expensive. So this of course has an impact on the pharma company's P&L, but more important than that, it can have an impact on the patient's access to medicines. And then what pharma companies find out is that in some countries there is a national demand that cannot be covered just because there is not enough stock. So I worked on this already 4 or 5 years ago, and we developed very complicated and sophisticated models with algorithms to try to come up with an accurate view of the demand. Now with the predictive forecasting models, it is much easier because AI can help to have a very precise view of exactly what is going to be the demand in the next years, per month, per country, per regional area, even by hospital and by pharmacy. and what are the stock levels that pharma companies must keep within the country borders to make sure that they can serve national demand. For me, this is a very good example of how AI can help to make sure that all patients have access to the treatments and ultimately to improve patients' lives.
Thank you, Chiara.
Yes, my example with GenAI is very much closer to marketing essays, as I mentioned before, so omnichannel marketing campaigns powered by marketing automation, AI analytics, and so it's really AI-generated insights and the next best action. And together with that, I can say that myself and my team have really achieved great results with 80% shift of customers' prescribing behaviors, so shifting towards prescribing and leading products to market leader status. So surely what I can witness with this is really higher return on investment, and so doing really better commercial operational effectiveness, but also through the automation we get to a faster decision making, and sometimes it's really automated, right? And so we really cut through the speed. And eventually this is also the reason why we keep pursuing GenAI technologies and insights, because it can really generate that profitability we are looking for.
In a kind of predictive way. Yeah.
In a kind of predictive way, but this is also part of the power of GenAI, of course,
cool.
predictions.
Maurizio.
I already mentioned in the predictive project. I try to answer you with another point of view, because we experimented GenAI also with the doctors and directly externally. It's not so easy, I know, and probably we are sort of pioneer on this kind of project, but we decided to help the doctors to make decisions, but not in terms of therapy in this moment, because it's not so easy to go through this kind of technology. That part of the regulation is not so clear now. But we help them during an event like this. We provided virtual patient, so ChatGPT basically with an avatar, and trained it with the information about schizophrenic patient and depressive patient. So we provided them the opportunity to speak with them and understand how much is different to speak with a depressive patient A, Maurizio for example, instead of Belén or other person, and receive feedback immediately about the tone of voice, about the words that you decided to use, or the approach, and the feedback can immediately provide them the opportunity to understand, okay, probably this is an important point that I have to take care during my communication with the patient. And because if the patient is too much shy or depressed, for example, you can't use the same communication. Otherwise, the adherence of the therapeutic aspect will go down. That's another approach.
But like the example, because it's bringing us very closer to where we want to be, that's to the patient. So thanks for sharing. Mark, you've seen a lot of other things, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's similar in the sense that it's from making use of it from an objective handling kind of perspective, to be able to understand what commentary might be, and be able to use the GenAI to make a different persona, so that representatives can engage in different ways with those kinds of physicians. So that's one example that helps to get a little bit closer to this prescriptive reality. Another one is just the overall engagement. What we've seen a lot focused on the video engagement side is that when video is used appropriately and used at scale, that prescribers are definitely engaged. They're willing to go further, and that's interesting. So when they are going further, it actually does translate directly into prescription traffic. You can measure in the United States very easily. You can't measure it so easily here in Europe.
Okay, so I'm looking at the clock. It's a merciless one. It's ticking down. So let me quick and sharp would say, Maurizio, this time I will start with you, because you mentioned something about boundaries. It's not that easy. So imagine they are not there. What would you ask AI to do in helping you taking the right decisions in driving operational excellence?
Yeah, honestly, it's not so simple, because if I see the future in reality, in 2 years, 3 years, I don't see revolution. Okay, I agree with the previous speakers that in the pharma industry it's not so easy to innovate the regulation and the procedures and processes and so on and so forth. So I see an high level of adoption internally. So probably we will have, all of us will have a digital twin internally, and this is for me is the best scenario, because if you can be, if you can have a team not composed by only people but also special experts like agent in whatever you want, it's completely different than the competition on the field.
That brings me, I have to now to go to Mark, because you mentioned the twin, and Mark is working with avatars and these nice things. So Mark, dreaming loud.
Really quickly, I think being able to have palpable control and access to the information across a multi-country organization at whatever level that you want is the first key win to be able to take advantage of across productivity and other things. Obviously, if you can have 5 of Maurizio's being able to cover the panel, we'd have it all sorted out from a digital twin perspective. And this coming wave of agentic AI is really fundamental. So it's going beyond this kind of just putting data together into things where you're actually having complex tasks being implemented and being validated and verified to respect the boundaries in order to come back. So I think the next few years will also have very exciting applications, but it's getting deeper and deeper into the application level.
Perfect. Belén, Chiara, what would you like to add?
I would only agree with what you just said. I agree there is a lot of uncertainty, and maybe 3 areas where I think we are certain that AI will play a key role related to automating repetitive tasks and personalized recommendations and the risk management.
And to spice up in the end, right, I actually asked GenAI to help measure the profitability of GenAI. To basically, yes, design, measure and forecast those innovative GenAI scenarios where there is clarity on the profitability and effectiveness of GenAI. In this way, we can really speed up with a strategic decision making on investments on GenAI. That would be extremely helpful to GenAI itself, of course, in the area of innovation, where we always see riskier return on investment.
Okay, so what I would like to ask AI at this moment in time is to say, hey guys, has been well enough for today. We covered a lot of topics, so please let's call it a day so that we can refresh, re-energize, digest everything we've gone through. So I really would like to thank all the panelists here, and especially you, because